Raphael, what is Carbon for Development and what do Nexus do?
Nexus-Carbon for Development is actually a cooperative of 16 members. So by cooperative, I mean each of our members have equal votes and equal rights. And by project developers, I mean NGOs, eco-businesses, or public institutions that are part of this cooperative or alliance. Those project developers are actually low-carbon project developers. They develop pro-poor technologies that would give access to energy to poor populations in rural areas or access to clean water. So biogas technologies like biodigesters in rural areas of Vietnam, or improved cook stove in Cambodia, or water filters in Cambodia, Laos, and Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. We cover about 15 countries.
And how do you do this? I assume you're not funding it from the kindness of your own heart and the bottom of your wallet. How are you funding this?
We partly funded by donations. One of them is from the French Global Environment Facility, from the French Development Agency. Another one is the Blue Moon Fund, a US-based philanthropic institution. And another one is the Economic Development Board of Singapore, who's trying to create an international hub on carbon finance in Singapore. But the idea is that after 3, 4, 5 years, we create our own revenue and we become autonomous. So these are just seed funding, basically, for the organization to be sustainable in the near future.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of how much each project costs, I mean, give us an idea of how much a biogas or a solar project or one of the other sort of projects you're working on. How much does this cost?
To produce, an improved cook stove, for example, in Cambodia would cost $2.53, and that would cost to the end user maybe for $5 up to $7 depending on who you're buying it, from in intermediaries or directly from the producer. Biogas or biodigesters is really targeting not the bottom up of the pyramid, but rather small farmers, for example, because it has a buying cost of $200 up to $500 sometimes. So you need some support, maybe from the local governments. With microcredits or subsidies, depending on the technologies and where it's taking place. So, for example, in Vietnam, the biogas projects that we have is animal husbandry, so waste from animal husbandry. It's covering 17 districts in the rural Vietnam, and it's in partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. So what happens here is that it's really an integrated project within a sustainable development policy with very clear goals at the national level, and that is really from top down and then through a bottom up initiative, really meeting sustainable development goals and access to energy for the rural poor, basically. So this project, has a lot of capacity building components together with SNV, the Dutch cooperation agency, and with Nexus on the carbon finance, part of it.
Raphael, there's a lot of skepticism, though, isn't there, about carbon finance. A lot of people don't seem to think it works. It's not very clear for people. How do you find that with Nexus?
Thank you for asking the question. I think it's an interesting question. Well, beyond all the political uncertainties, beyond the oversupply and short demand, what we see from a field developer point of view really is that carbon finance is useful. In rural areas, it is creating jobs. It is preventing population flee from rural areas up to urban areas. It is providing clean water, so it's reducing, waterborne related diseases, and it's reducing, obviously, the death related to those diseases. It's also improving indoor air quality. So what I mean by that is really the economic and social benefits of those projects are huge, and beyond the carbon finance part of it, beyond the environmental impacts and the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions, it is really very much benefiting the rural population. So in that sense, if you look around the world, there are some really successful projects with carbon finance, and we hope, carbon finance and offsetting will actually continue.